Well, good evening, and welcome back to MysticHour, a live podcast about all things mystical and nerdy, right here on Proficiency Bonus. I'm your host, Kristy Mysticwater, and each week I talk to some cool people about all sorts of nerdy and mystical topics. And today we're doing something a little different, as we usually do here. We are going to be talking about art and artistry and D&D and how that correlates. So I have one of my very favorite people with me today. I have Ink. Hang on, let me just take you over. Might as well.
Oh my goodness.
There's Ink. Hi.
I'm so huge.
He's so big right now because we're going to be doing some on-stream drawing and doodling. I unfortunately draw on my iPad and don't have a tablet with the laptop hooked up. But before we get into doing shit and starting the show, we have our sponsor, which is DiceBard.com. They're a Vancouver-based local dice company that sells dice sets and D&D merchandise. And if you go to their website, DiceBard.com, and enter the coupon code PROBO, P-R-O-B-O, on checkout, you get free expedited shipping to anywhere in the world. Pretty awesome, if you ask me. And so, yeah, we don't really need to do much introductions for you. You've been on the stream quite a few times now. I'm
starting to think you like me or something.
It's almost like I love you or something.
Gasp.
But might as well, just in case I have this on iTunes, because I'm super late for uploading those. But if they're not watching, or they haven't been listening, or watched my show, or watched our streams, let them know who you are. Where are you from?
Oh gosh, let's see. My name is Ink. You can also call me Dylan. I guess I play D&D with this one for a couple different shows. I'm your DM now for my campaign Wish that runs on Wednesdays, and then we play as dragon siblings.
So good.
Alternating with our other wonderful artist friend Danica. For her campaign Brood.
And I would have loved to have Danica in this, but she's got work like a real human being.
Yeah, she has to, get paid to,
Yep.
do cool stuff working where she works.
Yeah.
Gosh, let's see what else. Sundays. Sundays.
Saturday's
I'm on.
me.
Saturday is you, Sunday is me on Curse of Strahd, where I play Variant, the very, very French dwarf. And I guess I'm also a freelance illustrator and writer and colorist and all of that.
Published comic book artist.
Yeah, it's in here somewhere.
Published artist.
I got a book.
I got a professional, guys.
Wait, there's some art in here somewhere. Hold on. Yeah, I got a book and I draw people.
Ayo.
And there's art in it and stuff. So I
good.
did that. That's me.
Yee.
All right. Let's get that out of there.
Okay.
So that's me.
That's you. And so today, we kind of wanted to just doodle and draw and talk a little bit, ask each other some questions. Well, mostly me asking questions. I'll answer some, but So we're going to be talking about D&D and art and being an artist in the D&D community and how we started. Yeah, that's pretty much all I ever draw now. So
yeah, I mean, is my Twitter up?
Yep.
Up in here?
It's up in
Twitter. Okay, yeah, so that's my Twitter, where basically I'm just a D&D Twitter now, and I draw, so, you can give me money, and I'll draw your D&D characters, so, dabs.
God damn it, we're horrible.
We're professionals.
We're so professional, brother.
We are going to be doing the Brood voices.
On and off. Yeah, on and off all night, because you can say what fucking my mind did. That's what we do. So, I'm gonna start with the first question because it seems the most obvious and easy to kind of start with, and you can jump in with your doodling screen share whenever you like.
Oh yeah, I'll do that right now so that you can make sure that it is working, so that everyone can.
Because we didn't
So
test
as you can
this.
see,
there it is. Oh, hello internet.
Hello, hi everybody.
Aw.
I can draw better than this. But
Hi.
yeah, okay, so it works. All right, yeah. So while we do that, so I've laid out a thing. I'm gonna try and design a character, during this stream.
I am also going. I don't know if I'm gonna design one or just try and copy you or what the fuck, but we'll find out.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But they're going to be a divine soul sorcerer Asamar, who is a character that I might be able to play in a setting that I'm writing for some friends.
Nice.
I'm totally not being serious yet. This is how I warm up. I just do a whole bunch of stuff like this to kind of get it all out.
Yeah, just get it out of your system.
Enough about them. They're a healer of the sick, dying, and downtrod. They're going to be inspired by bronze statues, Greek statues, which I will go more into when we get into it. And also one of my favorite characters from my favorite game, Demon Souls.
Cool.
We're going to go for ambiguous gender, and then just some other stuff like they are the light in the darkness. I don't know what that means, but we'll figure it out as we design them. And they are a traveler of the wastes. So that's
spooky.
That's what we're gonna do. But so hit me up with some of those questions, Kristy.
Sure. Let's start off with really something basic and simple that we can both answer. What got you into drawing, doodling, sketching, and how old were you?
Okay. So a lot of people will tell you that they've been drawing ever since they could hold a pencil.
Yeah.
I honestly was not like that. I spent most of my life wanting to be a writer.
Me too! This is why I want siblings.
So I really liked writing and video games like RPGs, and things like that. And I was always interested in weird worlds and stuff like that, but I was always writing about them. And then in junior year of high school, I took an intro to art class, and I really, really liked it. And I was like, well, geez, I work so hard on trying to write these complicated worlds so that I could paint those pictures, in someone's head. And I was like, well, why don't I just draw it so they can see it? So I begged the art teacher, because we had an AP art class, and I said, can I be in the AP art class? And he said no.
No.
Because you've only taken intro to art. You have to take painting, you have to take another class.
Yeah, you have to work your way up there.
And I was like, I can't, because I am a junior. I'm going to be a senior next year. And so I said, if you let me take the AP art class, I promise I'll go to art school. So he let me, and then I went to art school, and here I am. So I actually went back and visited him this past May when I graduated, and I brought him my book and my diploma, and I was like, I did it. I kept my promise. And then I talked to the new AP art class, which was a really fun experience. So that's kind of how it started, from writing, and then kind of wanting to be able to supplement my writing with art.
So you started, so roughly high school is when you really started getting into drawing.
Yeah, doing it seriously. I always doodled and stuff with my friends. I can even draw my first character ever right now. It'll take 2 seconds.
Do it.
His name was eighteenth, and he had a little symbol, and he was a half dragon man. And I would always draw the claw. He had dragon wings and dragon, and then that's what he looked like. So this is my first character ever.
And it looked exactly like that.
It looked exactly like that. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Always.
very similar to you. I was always writing, and I was never really good at drawing. The only thing I was good at drawing was cats, because I was obsessed with cats. So that's the only, like, whenever kids in the class were like, how do I draw a cat? They would always come to me, and that was my go-to. I could never draw people, just, cats. No other animal, just cats. And then, probably late high school is when I started drawing, but again, I wasn't in an art class at all. This was all just in the days of DeviantArt and writing Beyblade fan fictions and drawing Beyblade OCs.
Beyblade fan fiction.
Beyblade fan fictions and Beyblade original characters. And I was like, I have to draw my own character and I have to draw my own Bit Beast. And guess what my Bit Beast was? It was a cat with wings, as you fucking do, because that's the best thing I could draw. So that's where mine started. I was one of those DeviantArt kids that would draw Beyblade OCs.
I still got my DeviantArt art. It's saved on this computer, dude. Oof.
Yeah, I haven't touched that thing in forever, and it scares me to try and look back at what I did. So you kind of mentioned that was your first character that you just draw. Do you have a character or object that you draw a lot, and what attracts you to draw that type or that character in particular?
I know for a long time I was like that draw a million eyes on a page.
Oh yes, me too.
I would just draw a whole bunch of eyes, and like honestly, I actually really like drawing ears. Ears are probably also one of my draw, because I just find them really fun and easy, and they have a lot of cool shapes. I like doing like earrings and stuff. So I would say it's like certain repeating features is what I return to a lot. So like as my style developed, my eyes, like very often I like to do like these little under eyelashes just because I think they look cool, and certain simplified noses. I love doing the, like, I guess it's like the Steven Universe mouth. I love doing like these. So I would do pages of faces like this, of just like, and it kind of becomes my warm up, is to do stuff like this. I'm really like hesitating starting, but I really shouldn't. I have a whole bunch of references up to kind of actually get going in this.
Well, that's another thing we should discuss, is like a lot of artists kind of have to use references, because like that's how you start.
It's true. I do. I definitely need.
I definitely always use references.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be afraid to use references. They're there for a reason. Artists are visual people, and I feel like not using references can sometimes actually limit you, because you should always be trying to draw from reality, because reality is, well, it's the realest thing we have. So I'm doing this ASMR, and something I read somewhere, there was this D&D, it was like on a thread. There's this D&D game, and this player wanted to play an ASMR, but they didn't like that all of the text was like ASMR are very like fair-skinned, ivory-skinned, because they're holy and good and all of that stuff, and the player was black, and he said like, well, what if I made them look like bronze skinned, like metallic, like a statue or something, because that to me evokes a similar kind of holiness to it, and I really liked that. And so all of my ASMR that I've designed since then, either their skin looks like marble or gemstone or has flecks of gold in it. I try to avoid the typical, they're good and holy, so they have just really nice skin. So we're gonna kind of try and do something inspired by that, which I read.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, I'm the same with you. Like, my go-to is, like, the repetitive eyes. Like, eyes are kind of my thing. Yeah. That and hair, I think.
Yeah.
I like drawing, like, very similar hairstyles just because it's easy. And I guess we can kind of go into that is, like, what is the hardest thing to draw for you and why, and what is the most fun to draw for you and why. And that would, like, the easiest thing for me is always eyes. Eyes are always, like, I'm not a typical artist. Like, I don't do the proper circles. Like, I can, but I usually don't. I always start with the eyes, like, and then work my way out.
There's a couple people that do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually where I start.
Everyone kind of finds their own way with it.
Just
you can actually you can see me struggling with it right now.
I don't know if I can. Those are the type of eyes I usually draw.
Yeah, you go with the more kind of like anime style.
I'm very anime.
Which a lot of like, we can talk about it maybe like in a bit, but like a lot of like
artists
formal
on
art.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a lot of shit.
We can get into that.
Oh yeah. But let's start with the. Let's start with the hard and easy and most fun.
Yeah. So you can see me kind of struggling with it right now. Posing sometimes for me, figuring out how I want, because every aspect of a character evokes something for that character, and so sometimes I have a hard time deciding how someone would stand, because I'm thinking of a lot of things at once. I'm thinking about silhouette and also their personality, and sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming. So you can see me, I'm kind of going back and forth as I try to find just something that we can like start getting stuff down. So you saw I was sketching earlier, and then I kind of just threw some color down, because sometimes you have to kind of trick your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you can because you can always start working into it more and more and more. You just need to get something onto the paper. So that's definitely where I find something that's hard for me. Sometimes is posing or
hands are the bane of my existence. Fuck hands. That's all I gotta say.
Hands are pretty notorious for a lot of people. The only thing I can say is like not drawing them makes it harder. You know?
You're right. I totally avoid them. Like, if you notice a lot of my art, like, the hands are out of frame.
They're always hidden. Yep, and I mean that's not.
I mean, it's a good cheat technique. It's a good cheat technique. Like, I just draw like the bust, and like if you're just drawing the bust, you don't need the full body pose.
Right.
Yeah.
So, God, what's something that's I mean, I like doing faces. I really love coloring. I know a lot of some people don't like to color a whole lot.
Just because it can get tedious, but I'm of the camp of enjoying coloring. It's very good, like, just mind-numbing. Like, it's something you can just do and just get lost in.
I agree.
Someone's asking... Oh, Sarah's asking what program is Ink using.
I am using just Paint Tool Psi. Technically it's Psi 2. God, it's been a while since I bought it. I don't think it's that expensive. A lot of people on YouTube use it. In school, I used Photoshop a lot. That's what I practiced in. But at home I use Psi. And also, a lot of people really like to use. I remember it as Manga Studio, but I believe the American version is Clip Studio Paint. The important thing for a program is just what feels comfortable for you. So I enjoy Psi's simplicity mostly, and that's why I use it. Other people like to have kind of like a lot of tools to help them,
right?
Which is all fine, you know.
Yeah, like Illustrator and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'll probably say it a million times in this, like, do what is comfortable for you, you know? That's the most important. Do because art is supposed to be fun. Creating something is supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're not having fun, like ask yourself why.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So there you go.
I have a question for you, because this is something that I just remembered that I used to do, because at least I'm old. I used to have to draw on paper, line art it with a sharp, like, be really careful with the pencil, line art it with a Sharpie and hope that you don't fuck up, then scan it with my scanner onto my laptop, and then CG color it on Photoshop by masking out and taking out the white portion and just having the line art and coloring it that way.
And have I had to do that?
Yes.
Yes, I have had to do that, and I didn't do it well. I mean, some of the first stuff that I like a lot of what I first posted, I posted it on DeviantArt.
Yep.
Were drawings on lined paper, taken with a phone camera because I didn't have a scanner.
Yeah.
And just posted just like that. I could get one. I could probably open one up. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, let me see if I can find mine too. Now that we're talking about our old art, let's take a break from drawing this new art and see where we were at how many years ago.
I'm totally not gonna.
I don't know if I can find something that I'm willing to show though.
It's in there. It's out there. Let's see. This is me trying to go through all of my files now, though.
Oh my god. My DeviantArt, like, you know how, like, in DeviantArt you have, like, a little, like, tag underneath your username? Mine says the Kai Hillary Guru, fucking Beyblade bitch. Oh, jeez. Wowie, guys. I haven't been to my DeviantArt in forever.
Gosh, I'm so bad with going through my folders. Old pictures?
Oh.
I have a folder called DeviantArt somewhere.
Okay. I'm gonna save a couple of these.
There it is, old DeviantArt. Yeah. Let's open a few of these that you can see. Gosh, let's see. I'll get the first picture I ever posted. I'll get some of my digital stuff. I think I have some drawings here of when I like thought I learned how to do wrinkles and I really didn't know how to do wrinkles in clothing. Let's see if these will open up. Yeah, okay, here we go. So this is the first thing that I ever posted on DeviantArt.
Oh wow.
It was posted just as this. Wow. It was a fan character for the movie 9. Oh gosh.
I'm finding some really weird shit. Oh god.
So something I would do a lot. You can see really tiny hands.
Yep.
Feet, trying to have them like in perspective, but like this one it looks like you're looking down at the foot, and this one you're looking at the side of the foot, so like it didn't make sense. Old Homestuck art. Oh man, look, I was still signing stuff ink.
Oh.
So you can see the wrinkles totally don't make sense. You can see they're just kind of like everywhere. Like this isn't how a coat flows. What I learned is like less is more. Also, like look at those eyes. I think I'm wearing sunglasses. And ooh, that like see, like I got the anime chin.
Yeah, some of this I can't even show on stream. Hang on.
More. Yeah.
Let's see.
Gosh. Wow. A lot of Homestuck art. Did a lot of Homestuck art.
Browse. Let's see. What's one I could show? Okay, so like one of my very first ones. I'm such a geek. One of my very first ones is this thing you'll see on stream is this cat girl that I have her hissing because, you know. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Where is it? Like, this is probably like 13-year-old Kristy. Like, sad, heartbroken, like you have to explain the tears.
Oh.
Oh. And that's how it started. Let's see if I can find my digital ones. Oh, okay. So here's an example of me trying to hide hands in a pocket.
Yeah, there we go.
Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. The stream's a bit delayed.
It's a bit delayed.
So that was for like a science project. They wanted me to draw a poster explaining to kids about chemical formulas and shit. So I was like, okay, might as well. I'm learning how to do Photoshop. So that's how I did it. I hid her hand in her back pocket because
you're doing a little bit of the boob butt pose kind of thing. I like it. I mean, but like we all everyone does it. We all do it. Look, I'm doing it in this one. Hands behind the back. Not this like.
This one is one I'm actually proud of because I actually drew her hand, and it wasn't even that good of a hand. But
like, I still have trouble with hands. It's fine. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, wow.
So it's supposed to be like I don't know if you've watched Beyblade, but they would have like in season 3 they would have captures of the Bit Beast behind them and then the Beyblade and stuff. So
yeah,
man.
So like, it's just funny, right? Because like you look back at these and you can remember like I was really proud of this.
Yeah.
So like I remember loving this, like it was. I remember all of these, and I was super happy. And, like, that's fine, because at that time, you were doing the best you could. And
yeah.
I mean, honestly,
and with the technology back
then,
then, like, technology has grown so far, especially, like, for the artists, and, like, digital platforms and digital media has, like, grown exponentially in the past decade. Like, it's not even the same shit anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I watched the I probably won't even do hands today.
I'm not doing hands today because I don't have time for that.
But it's like, yeah. It's just we all you know, we all do it.
We've all been there.
Exactly. And I mean, I still have trouble with things, you know. It's part of. But you need to like embrace that, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Embrace your roots because like that's especially back then, like we had very limited resources.
Yeah, I mean like. Over time, I feel like a lot of people, because like I work in a studio, and I feel like a lot of people that come in are like parents that their kid loves to draw, but it's always the parent that says, "Oh, I'm not creative. Oh, I can't draw anything," and I always tell them, I'm like, "Yeah, you can. Like, look at your kid. You know, sometimes it's like a 4-year-old kid." Something happens to us as we get older that like the want to be creative gets like pushed out of us sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's very saddening to me because I feel like I'm very much so a person that's like anyone can be an artist. It's just a matter of keeping or rediscovering what you had when you were a kid and you drew stuff that because you just didn't care. You know?
You did it for fun.
Yeah. So it's like, find that again. You know. That's all it is. So anyone who says that they aren't an artist or they can't draw, you can. You can draw.
Yeah, for sure.
But you just gotta... People, you know, the topic of, like, natural talent.
Right. Like, you don't have to identify as, like, this natural or professional artist. Like, anyone can draw.
Yeah, I don't
You don't have to be a
believe it. Like,
professional.
people tell me I'm talented, that I'm naturally inclined towards art, and I really don't actually like when I'm told that, because I feel like it
kind of
neglects
discredits your work that you've gotten to this point, right?
the years
Yeah.
and dedication that I put into it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, just what I always say is some people are naturally inclined to skills that help art,
Like creative skills. Yeah.
yeah, with creative problem solving, or they are really, normally it's like they have really good observation skills. You know, you can observe the world. You're good at breaking things down into shapes, or things that they teach you how to do in art school anyway. But like, some people just naturally their brains work that way, but that means that they could be good at plenty of things, not just art.
Yeah. I think that's
And
very true.
The ability to think creatively is one that is it takes time to develop, in my opinion.
I agree. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
Please note that Lip has made these questions. Thank you, Lip.
Thank you, Lip.
He says, I've noticed that a lot of D&D character drawings tends to have a lot of drama or emotion in the character. How much of that action have you ever put into your work, or do you have a specific, I guess, mood or feel when you're doing like the drama or emotions? Like, do you focus on those type of artworks, or do you more focus on like portraits?
So typically what I'm commissioned for is like reference work, you know, so I just kind of make someone's character,
in your
which
version?
is great.
Yeah.
Because they want to see their character, and I totally understand that. That's completely valid. I'm trained as an illustrator, and the point of an illustrator is to illustrate, convey an emotion or an idea or something like that through art. And it's a different skill set. You know, there's a million different kinds of artists. Sorry, I'm just throwing some color around on this guy. It's I've done some emotional pieces, in my opinion. I did them for like, let me see if I can find some of my old illustration work. Gosh, this is just reminding me how bad all of my like file organization is. That's what this is telling me. Here, this is a recent piece I did for some friends. By the way, if they're watching, these are some great fucking characters. But like, this is more than just portraiture to me, because it's conveying who these characters are.
Yeah, it's conveying the personalities, for sure.
They told me what these characters were like, and you can see it kind of in the expressions, and specifically lighting. I feel like
lighting, fuck.
A lot of painting is understanding of light, because color is light. So you can tell the moods of these characters, how one is more serious, one's more lighthearted, and then I was told how these characters have like a connection between the two of them, and that kind of played into the design with their names in this kind of connected red, because there's a little bit of passion. The characters are kind of connected in that way. So I feel like things like this, there's emotion that you can find in the color, in the lighting, and the posing, and stuff like that. So,
Victoria's asking in chat, what are some good tips you two have for quick practice? What kind of activities or exercises can help someone improve?
Figure drawing. A lot of people will say it. It's true. Where you take, there's some websites out there that will show you models Some of them sometimes you can choose between, say, like nude models or clothed models, for what you want to, if you want to practice anatomy. But figure drawing teaches you so much more than just anatomy. It shows you how bodies move. It teaches you shadows, lighting. Everyone will always say observation because the world is your best teacher. If you want to know how to draw something, find that thing. And even if it's something that's not real, like say I want to draw a dragon, well, a dragon is, you look at lizards and birds and illustrations of dinosaurs and things like that, or even just other people's interpretation of a dragon, So all of that is really good. And doing figure drawing, you break it into kind of different times. What am I trying to say? You like do it in short bursts, and then you periodically get longer and longer with it.
Yes. Yeah.
To kind of work yourself up to it. And you do stuff like that.
Sorry, guys.
So observation. It all depends on like what you want to do. If you want to make characters, draw people. If you want to do landscapes, photography is such a great additional skill set, because if you go out and take a picture yourself, not only does it protect you from like copyright stuff because it's like you took the picture, but it also just you can go out and observe things that are really that are out there, and there's a lot of different ways that you can use that to your benefit. I don't know, does that help? Things you can do is always like I think of like a million things at once, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just do a lot of like reference work and just practice. Like I find an image that I want to recreate, and then add my own style to it. That's usually what I do.
Yeah, that's also another thing,
That's my go-to.
And it definitely is. It definitely works. It really does. Something like you saw me when I was warming up, I do little faces, things like that. Some people, one of my favorite little techniques to do for like warm-ups is I like to do a bunch of like scribbles with my like eyes closed, and then I see if I can make a drawing out of the scribble. Like so it helps my my observational skills.
Yeah.
And stuff like that to because humans, here we're gonna get into a little bit of human philosophy here.
Sure.
Human psychology.
Sure.
Because art, you have to know a whole bunch of different stuff. Humans are like, have you ever like looked at like when you go like cloud watching? Stuff like that, how like you always
your mind sees images that aren't really there, but they put together an image that they see.
Exactly. And that's because humans are very, very good at pattern finding and creating patterns. It's how our brains work. It's part of how we survived as a species, really, is pattern recognition. And one of the things that we often see, like if you ever gone on Facebook or Pinterest, where it's like people take pictures of things that look like
something else,
faces, like on buildings and stuff.
So
faces are like the number one thing that we're recognized.
Yeah, we're programmed to see it. Yeah.
We're programmed to see other humans. Exactly. So
for sure.
The scribble technique, what that does is it helps kind of build your pattern recognition, which is very, very useful skill as an artist, and it helps with design, so things like that.
I haven't decided if I want to make her an earth, a water Ganassi or not, but this is kind of where I've gone with it.
I'm bringing in some of the like greens from these other references here to kind of get that like sense of oxidation, and also it's going to normally good art will do multiple things all at once.
You know what? I'm gonna do a female version of what you're doing. I'm gonna change the color scheme and try and do a female version of what you're doing right here. Like with this, with what I'm drawing right now, I'm just gonna erase all this blue and go with that color palette because I like it. Fuck it.
Are you going? Yeah. So like, because the other thing that I was just about to say is like, I had the main warm palette, but introducing the green, so the greens are complementing with the reds, that sort of thing. So it's.
I need a bigger eraser.
This is having trouble with how I want to pose hands.
There.
But yeah, so it's like good art will do multiple things at once. And we're just getting into it now. I'm starting to actually kind of like where this is coming out. This is interesting.
Yeah, I like it. Next question. Do you prefer visual aid when running a game as a player or DM? Do you find yourself more or less engaged when the DM is proficient in providing visual aid? So I think that also applies to like other players at the table. Like if other players have character art or just visual aids from the DM, are you more engaged with it if you have something to like visualize?
I don't know if I'm necessarily more. I definitely appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I wouldn't say that I need it to like engage or visualize because like
No.
I've played just audio only where there's no visual aid whatsoever, not even like video chat.
True.
And like you can imagine it, like you don't know what the other person imagines their character look like, but you've already got an image in your head and it kind of like suspends the disbelief. But when I do have art, like when we had like the Hell or High Waterdeep art, like, it just like brought a whole nother level to it, I feel.
That's it definitely brings another level to it. That's exactly what I was like thinking. You voiced that
Brother
really well.
and sisters think alike, you know.
We do think alike, yes.
Very good.
It's, gosh. Because I don't want to, like, say, like, you have to, because you don't. Everyone can run, and some people prefer to have it all be theater of the mind. The game I run for you is pretty much mostly theater of the mind.
Yeah.
And part of that, I think, is because I enjoy, letting the players sort of create their own internal, thoughts of what things look like. Because when you give them a picture, you go, it looks like this. And obviously some people will be like, yes, thank you.
Right.
But other people will be like, oh, that's not what I, thought of.
Right, yeah.
It's about what's more fun.
I mean, there are ups and downsides to that. Yeah, and I would say there's up and downsides to that because, like, the DM has this image in his or her head of what they're trying to explain, and then the players are seeing something completely different, and there can be, like, a miscommunication in the crossfire. They're like, I thought this was happening, but, like, again, everyone's imagination is different, right? Like
in combat, it's like, wait, I thought he was next to me, and it's like, no,
or not even just in combat, like, even in, like, RP settings and stuff, like someone's supposed to be like across the field and you're like 200 feet away and you're having a conversation with them, you're like, you're not there. I didn't know.
And I mean, like, it happens, right? But that's more so like how that becomes more a conversation about like communicating with each other, always, as it always comes down to.
Yeah.
But like, just kind of figure out what works for your group. I definitely appreciate it, but I also understand the DM is normally doing so many things.
True.
And so
juggling everything.
Yeah, so like sometimes doing that on top of it, it's just a lot. So I understand. I would not get mad at, say, a DM that doesn't necessarily want to do it, but I know that there are certain moments where I want to give you guys a visual aid because I'm an artist and I feel like I can use that skill to illustrate something for you. you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, something like that is definitely on my radar. It's definitely, like, you know, it depends. Long story short, it definitely depends.
It definitely depends, I agree. Someone from chat, Galaxy says, one thing I really love about being able to commission many different artists for one character and seeing all the different types of interpretations. Yes, I agree. I love seeing the different types of interpretations because every person has a different art style usually. Like, some might be similar, but there's always something different about each artist because everyone's brain is fucking different.
And that's definitely something that's great about the D&D community itself.
Yes.
Is that everyone, I don't think I've ever seen a community that's so pro using each other, you know, using each other's ideas, you know, the sharing of knowledge in the D&D community,
like the sharing of like
I don't see
the knowledge and ideas, like the diverse ideas, and like sharing like different visual means. Like, look at Critical Role and all the different interpretations of every character in that series. Or even like the Adventure Zone, which I finally watched. Oh, I finally caught up. And seeing...
Hey, good for you.
I know, I did. And so seeing how they don't have like a concrete image, like canon image of all the characters, and seeing like the animated things and how each person interprets Taco differently. I'm like, I love that. I love that there's like no like restraint on the fan art.
Exactly. And so, like, gosh, I mean, that's something that you can go on about for like ever.
I know.
In like the best way. Because it just it keeps on giving, you know. And it's like, gosh, I'm starting to. You can tell when I'm starting to get into a piece because you're slowly losing me.
That's okay.
Audibly. I apologize. But it's just like every artist has their own vision, and that's why, you know, I love collaboration, and I also I mean, not everyone's gonna work well for collaborating, but I love collaboration because I know that so many people can approach something. You can learn something from everyone, just like in any you know, kind of real world job, and that's a really cool thing.
I am also
nipples. No nipples.
Nope.
I'm struggling getting a nice kind of texture. Ooh, wait. I might have an idea. Hold on.
I'm trying to figure out texture. Like, it's funny you're just saying texture. I'm like, I'm looking at yours and I'm trying to figure out how to do that, like, mossy texture. And I'm looking at my different brushes.
I use just a square kind of chalky kind of brush.
Okay. Let's see.
There we go. I love this texture effect because it immediately can get things looking like weirdly stony. I use this one a lot. It's cool to build off of.
Let's try this one. Ooh! Way too big. Ooh.
And then we paint over it. Let's try a bristle brush, maybe. How does that look? That's kind of cool. So we'll kind of push some of this around. Kind of get into here a bit. We'll work that. Oh, you got me into it, Kristy. Oh, I'm into it. I'm into it so
hard. Sorry, we're both drawing at the same time, so we're
you're losing us. Hope everyone is entertained. You get into a flow. Oh yeah, hey Kristy, do you normally draw with do you like use music a lot when you draw?
Actually,
Or do
yeah.
you find
It
yeah?
well, I think it does depend on my mood and where I'm at, and depends what I'm drawing. Like
Naturally.
when I'm drawing something sad, yeah, for sure, I would like that sad emotional music.
You like yeah.
Yeah, something like grungy, heavy, emotional, emo.
A lot of people do tend to use music. It's a very nice kind of it's a very good way to control and guide what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I use music all the time. I really do. I got that do you know what song I've had stuck in my head, that like remix that's like dancing is what you do, dancing's when I think of you. I've had that stuck in my head like all day, so
Struggle is real.
what you have other questions,
I do.
but we're getting to it.
What advice do you have for those just getting started in the art field due to the growing interest of D&D/fanfic? Is there a good enough reason to want to start drawing? Any reason's good enough for start drawing.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Any reason is a good enough reason to start drawing. All you have to do is want it, and want it for yourself. You know, there's plenty of people that I feel like they would I can tell someone that I think they would love drawing, you know, till the, you know, I can tell anyone that, but
Right.
if they don't want it, then it's not right for them.
Yeah.
So it's just finding what that is. If D&D is what gets you to be an artist, then that's like amazing. As for getting started with it, this is gonna sound so stupid, but the best way to start is to start.
Yep.
So often we get scared. I get scared. I still get scared. And what you need to do, kind of like what I was saying earlier, is you need to find that thing that you have when you're a kid and you don't care, and you need to recapture that. You know how like Picasso said, you know, it took me he said something like, it took me however many years to paint like a master, but it took me my whole life to paint like a child. And what he meant when he, you know, now listen, I mean, I don't think that Picasso is the greatest artist in the world. He's not my favorite dude. I know plenty of people that don't really like him, and that's fine. But what he's saying there is true. The most important thing is being able to recapture, because to paint like a child is to paint without fear.
Yeah.
It's to create for the sake of creating, and as long as you're doing that, you're a great artist in my book.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because, like, as an adult, we're also hypercritical of ourselves, and as a child,
We are.
you just don't have that issue.
No, definitely
Not
not.
usually, and not to the same degree.
And if you do, it's normally brought on by
By-
adults.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate.
Unfortunate, but-
It's an unfortunate truth. Bring in this like really nice color that I got in the hair.
I did
Yeah.
not think this through.
You're finding your way.
Am I?
Of course. We all are.
I don't normally make it this paint. Like, I do a lot of, like, solid colors and a lot of CG, and I'm trying to copy what you're doing with, like, all these different color swatches and splatters, and I'm like, this is not my usual style, but it's forcing me to try.
Whenever I'm talking with a friend who feels stuck, like they're not getting through a piece, I say to do a different medium than what they're used to, because it forces you to think in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've found that really helps me. You will eventually, go back to what's comfortable, which is fine.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes you need to attack something from, because if you saw, like, I started this by like sketching, and I kind of decided like sketching isn't going to give me this like effect that I want for this character, so I started painting it, and that's something that I do often. So
I also struggle with lighting. That's my issue.
lighting is hard. Art is hard. I feel like sometimes not enough people just admit that. Art is hard. That's why you need to respect the people that do it. Because not everyone can. Everyone has the capability to.
Right.
But some, it's obviously not for everyone. Not everyone's going to have the enjoyment. But so that's why you need to respect those that put in that time and effort, because they've probably gone through a lot of self-doubt and a lot of work to be able to create something. And you should always appreciate people for creating something. I feel like creating something is very naturally human. It's a very human thing to do. I feel like everyone wants to create in their own way. Maybe this is me getting a little bit too waxing poetic, but it's a belief that I have.
No, I think that's fair. I'm definitely going to clean this up, but to give people an idea of what I've been doing. Oh no, that is not what I wanted to do. Okay,
Let's see. King Jellybean in the chat. Are either of you artistically gifted with other mediums? I'm always interested in if artists can work in different ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, for sure. I think we both agree that we first identified as writers before artists.
That's true.
Writing.
It's an art just as much as drawing is.
Yeah. I think my other medium would be, if it's not writing, it's by karaoke forum. It's my online karaoke, is the singing. And, like, I am by no means a singer. Like, a good singer, I mean. Like, I just do it for fun. It's a good way, it's a good outlet for me. And we do a lot of, like, mixing and learning how to edit music and edit vocals and edit instrumentals and mix it all together. So that's my other form of, like, media, I guess, in terms of creative format.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, from school, I was trained in a lot of, like, traditional, so I do graphite, charcoal. I've done oil paintings. I have an oil painting in here. Hold on. We're going to quickly switch to my gross room.
I haven't done that type of... I guess, does cosplay count? I mean, I don't even have a sewing machine.
Cosplay is definitely an art form. Costume is... No, I admire cosplayers so much. Here, look. So here's some oil painting on board. So, like, you can see a lot of actually what I do in digital kind of present here. I like using square brushes. I never get too refined with my work. I always kind of leave it a little bit rough. So, like, I've done that. I did theater, so I sang as well.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like someone who likes to be an artistic person naturally gravitates towards various kinds of art. I think that's just a natural progression.
Yeah.
For most people to do.
Yeah.
So, thank you for your question.
I think I have, like, artistic, like, attention deficit. Like, I'm always, like, if I'm not doing my karaoke and I need to take a break, I go to the drawing, and if I can't do the drawing, I go to the writing, and I kind of just, like, hop around. What I like to do, like, I don't have a solid hobby because my hobby changes weekly, but it's always, like, the same cycle of hobbies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, D&D became a hobby.
I mean, D&D is life now, fam. What the fuck? Who you fighting?
Well, I mean, but like, what I realized was like D&D is art. I'm gonna sound really I'm gonna sound really sappy. Like anything can be art.
No, like, I agree. I agree that D&D is definitely an art form. The role playing, the ad-libbing, it's the same with acting.
And yeah, so there's that, and then there's the world building aspect of it. I saw this wonderful tweet the other day. I'm sorry that I don't remember who said it. I can check, but they said, "Hey, DMs out there, if you've done world building, if you've created a game that people enjoy, you're a world builder. You're a game designer."
Right.
And that's so true. Because you have created this thing, and you should acknowledge that you have put in that effort. DMs are game designers, you know, and that's just the tea on that. So like that's a really great tweet. D&D is art, so like I don't know. Everything's art, dude. Everything is art. And you can find art in anything. And art is great because you can mix all of those things. I'm so happy that D&D has given me so much more outlet for my artistic ability.
Me too.
It made me a more creative person. It definitely did, in my opinion.
I would agree with that because I haven't done drawing in fucking forever. Like the DeviantArt days, like let me see when my last post of an actual art was. So the last thing I drew was in 2007 on DeviantArt. And I haven't touched like a pencil and paper. I was done with the scanning because it was just too much effort, too much work. I've never had a tablet. I knew friends that had tablets, and I just never could afford one, never got around to getting one. So I was like, I'm not an artist. Why would I spend all this money to be an artist if I don't identify as one? But the moment I started playing D&D, I'm like, I want to draw my characters again. I guess I should get back into drawing.
Yeah, and what a great reason
to
create something.
Yeah, for sure.
For anyone who's afraid that I'm like just going over all of the work that I just did, I've created an extra copy of it. So
layers.
We will have layers.
Gotta love
I really like this kind of remember. I was thinking back to my original kind of things that I wrote for this character, and that like wanderer of the wastes kind of thing. So I really like these clothes here. I'm gonna try and do some my own kind of thing with it, but we'll see where it goes. We're gonna give him do a scarf.
I'm just gonna keep her naked.
Naked is good, man.
Oops.
Naked is life.
When you accidentally delete too much or erase too much, gotta love it. No! Mistakes were made!
Oh no!
That's another thing about art. Mistakes will always be made, and it's okay.
Mistakes are almost better than, doing something perfect every time.
Yeah, it's part of the process.
I've even had some like really cool things come from
mistakes, yeah.
What I consider to be mistakes, because I just kind of went with it. I embraced it. So, yeah. Embrace your mistakes.
Or erase them, it's fine.
Or erase them, whichever either is valid. You're valid. Night. Let's see. What else let's see. Let's see. No other questions in the chat. Let's see.
What is your opinion of people who use art in their own, who use your art you made in their own campaigns? If you saw an art on someone's stream and that you did not know, would you be upset?
Let's see. Use of art without permission is a very serious thing. It has not happened to me, to my knowledge, but it's happened to people I care about. And it doesn't feel good. I don't know if necessarily I would be mad. I don't think I can really answer that until it happens to me, but I can understand other people that get mad about it.
Right.
Because it's kind of serious.
Yeah.
I
don't know if
credit
I'd be
artists.
mad. Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. I'm like, I wouldn't be mad. Like, if they want to use it and they don't have their own art, that's fine, but just credit them.
Just credit artists, please. It goes back into just respect people that put time into some work, you know?
Like,
just like you would respect anyone else at their, or you should.
Right.
Respect anyone else at their job. It's like, respect people's time and effort. There's plenty of people that, like, asking them, they would love to, speaking of mistakes, I'm not liking this headscarf, so we're gonna see if we can just get rid of it. Yep, see? Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Like, I've had people steal my freaking anime music videos, and there's nothing you can do about that because it's not technically yours. And it fucking sucks, man. Been there, done that. It sucks.
I mean, in school, I got in trouble because I used a photo to create, to work on a piece, and I had a very serious talking to. And I wasn't trying to hurt anybody.
Yeah, it wasn't malicious, for sure.
No, but, I mean, I understood in that moment, I had, I didn't give the respect that that person deserved for taking that photo. And I mean, I said, like, well, I did my own spin on it, I did this and that, and I mean, that's where things get hazy. It's tough.
Right.
So just consider being a respectful person. That's kind of it. I don't know if I would be mad if someone, I think if I was purposefully not, the reason why giving the credit where it's due is important is because that any traction that piece of work gets is traction that's not going back to the artist.
Yeah.
That's business, so now that I do commission work, if there was a popular stream that used my art, that's potential commission work that I'm
not getting,
missing out on.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. If they told me, like, that's great, because maybe I could have been like, hey, well, let's like put my Twitter name on it. So, like, I asked you for today to put my Twitter name on the stream.
Yep.
And that was because I figured if someone liked what I was drawing today, they might want to commission me.
Yeah.
And I would like them to know where they can see my work or ask me for commissions. By the way, I'm open for commissions. Plug.
I might be open for commissions soon. I have yet to decide if I'm actually going to do it or not.
Oh, dude, you should totally do commissions.
It makes me nervous. Like,
commissions?
Yeah.
It is nervous, but
it's a lot of pressure, man.
I mean, yeah, I shouldn't say you have. You obviously don't have to.
I know. I've thought about it. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm not good enough.
That is
because, and
very
I mean, and this is like part of why we're doing this show today, is like, I feel like there's so many better artists out there, and there always will be. There's always going to be someone better than you at this. But my concern, at least for my reason, is I'm not good at doing, like, full body stuff. Like, the best I could commission that I would feel comfortable opening commissions for is, like, busts. Like, from chest up portraits. Preferably no hands. Like, but I don't know if there's, like, a market for that.
Mean, well, within D&D itself, I mean, there's Roll20 tokens.
Yeah.
And people want portraits all the time of their character to put on their character sheet. So, like, I think that there's most definitely a market for it. The thing is, if you're doing something you like, someone will pay for it, and you have to kind of go with that mentality.
Yeah.
Don't do something that you aren't going to enjoy just because you think it'll make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Just find the people that want what you provide. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all.
What color are you going for the eyes? Sorry to interrupt you.
God, geez, they're kind of like yellowish red.
Yellowish red.
They're like dark sockets, because I see in so many of these portraits the like eyes are like almost pure black, and I was playing with possibly doing like glowing eyes, or leaving them that kind of soulless black. But the thing is, I feel like that looks too like fallen ASMR, and it's not really what I was looking for, so I kind of put these lights inside of it.
Okay, I have an idea on how to make this work for my version, because I'm not doing exactly like you are. I have an idea. I can go for the glow.
Alright. So let's see. This might have gosh, we're doing it again.
I know.
How do you feel? Like, how do you? What's a good question for you? Something that I've always like. How do you start? Because we've talked a lot before about how making a character is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I remember for Hell or High Waterdeep, you had such a hard time. Well, you did.
I did.
And fuck. I feel like a lot of people, and that's true in art, do you feel like you have a specific thing? Like, where do you start? How do you get where you want to go? Is it different every time? Or have you kind of developed like a method, do you feel?
In terms of like character design or character creation?
In terms of I mean both, I suppose. Like, where if you were going to make
mm-hmm.
a new D&D character, or if you were going to make a piece of art,
mm-hmm.
where does it begin for you, and how do you get to that finished character?
I don't even know. I don't even know half the time. It's usually an idea that just pops into my head.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out of nowhere. I usually, like, at least for D&D, I always usually start with the class and race first. Either, like, interchangeable. It could be the class or it could be the race, depending on what I'm looking to play. And then
mm-hmm.
from there, I want to make each of those characters, like, every person wants their character to be unique or special. So I always try to, like, figure out how I can make, like, spin that stereotypical race or class and make it slightly, like, tweak it slightly and make it different.
Yeah, you're like me.
Yeah.
You like to kind of find your stereotype is to break the stereotype.
Yes, exactly. Like, with Drow, like, a lot of people draw Drow with, like, really obsidian dark skin or, like, the grays and the blues, and I go to the purples.
Or like what we're doing with the ASMR today.
Right.
With, like, getting away from that just, like, soft, angelic kind of feel to it. Yeah, I agree entirely. I always try and see if I can do something what I feel is, like, fun and original and, like, breaking a trope.
Yeah, that's usually
possible.
where I start. I mean, personality is a whole nother thing. But when it comes
That's
to
true.
when it comes to designs, I like to choose like a palette, like a color palette in my head, and go from there.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like
Interesting.
with my tiefling, like obviously I like the purples, but with my tiefling, I wanted an element of purple in there, but I didn't want her to be purple. So I made her a very pale, like almost like white tiefling with purple hair. And like really dark, like burgundy, like horns. Like I wanted her to look human, but not.
All right, that's definitely different than how I approach things. For me, it's like it's always sort of different. It's tough sometimes because it depends on how I find myself making a character. So like I stepped in today being like, you know, I want to try and evoke something of these from these statues, and I have some of these kind of like I was inspired probably kind of by like a little bit of like desert traveler or Middle Eastern. Like I was originally going to do kind of like a hijab kind of feel to it, and it kind of, as I drew, you know, it sort of evolved from there, and I didn't end up doing that because I really liked kind of keeping that Greek statue hair and that color that it brought into it. I thought was really cool. Yeah, no, I like change it up almost all the time, and it's really tough because sometimes it's just an interesting shape or a cultural influence that I want to capture, or I saw a cool character and I'm like, I want to see if I can do my version of it.
For sure.
And you know, where can you take an idea? Some ideas don't go far. Sometimes it's just you draw it once and you're like, all right, I doodled a goblin. It's on my Twitter @Inkweaver. But I drew this goblin, and I was like, I was just the one I did last night. You saw, and I was just like, probably won't ever draw them again. Just wanted to. I was playing. I like goblins. I like their big, you know, I like their big ears. I like the colors that I can do when I'm making goblins. So, and that was that. And I probably won't ever draw that again. This character's really cool, though. So I'm like hoping maybe this can be like a one-shot character, because I have a personality in mind and things like that. So we'll see.
I don't even know what I've done with this, but here's
Show me what you got. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So
what's funny? Like,
where I'm at right now.
Do you know what I see when I see yours? I even see like kind of like a what are they called? Yuan-ti?
Oh.
Kind of like almost like a snake person, because like the way you did your green pieces is kind of like scales.
Ooh, I think I could lean into that.
Yeah, I think that would look really cool. The Yuan-ti are a great example of a character that I feel their design and what they evoke visually is so cool, and I fucking hate their lore. So I just throw it out. I just don't like their lore. I don't like the whole, like, we aren't emotional.
Oh, someone in chat is asking... King Jellybean is asking, Kristy, as a writer, do you wish more writers would attribute inspiration more openly? Yeah, for sure. For sure. I want, like, when you're coming up with creative things, like, you always pull sources from somewhere. Like, it's not always from your brain, for sure. Because, like, for me, when I was writing my novel that never got finished, because that's writer's block for you, I did a lot of mine based off, like, Atlantis, and used, like, a lot of, like, textbooks and stories of the mythology of Atlantis. There's no way of knowing if it's true or not, but I would find books and just read constantly about the continent of Atlantis and like speculatory and theories and like the lore of the mythos of Poseidon and the first king of Atlantis, and I would read all of that, and that would be my inspiration for it, and I would twist it and like make a fictional world around the mythos of Atlantis. So yeah, for sure, if you're writing, you have to pull inspiration from somewhere, especially with fan fiction, because that's where my roots started with fan fiction. So I have to attribute openly that mine is all inspired from anime and those type of shows, or even Harry Potter. Like, it's not my content, but I want to expand on the universe, so that's my inspiration, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I also feel like something we can probably both relate to as writers that turned to art, visual art, is that writers in general also just don't get as much credit as I feel they deserve. It's because the thing with visual art, the visual arts, the drawing and painting and stuff like that, there's just a lot of hype, because you can look at it and see it, and you can kind of take it all in at once. But for writing, you have to kind of invest more time.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like fan fiction writers specifically deserve a lot more credit for the amount of work that they put in.
30 chapters, baby.
They write, fan fiction writers write novel length or more than novel length.
Yes,
pieces.
we do. Yes, we do.
And sometimes don't even become recognized by other writers as even being considered actual writing. And I think that that's so wrong.
Yeah.
And so unfair to those people. So I would like to extend my respect artists to, I mean, respect fan fiction writers especially.
Yes! Thank you, BB.
Because, like, holy shit, you guys are, like, crazy. I wrote a little fan fiction. It didn't stick with me, but, like, wow. You guys do so much. And so many people read, like, exclusively fan fiction. So, like, and they do it for free, guys.
I know.
They do it for free.
Because
and they really
we
shouldn't have to.
Like, ideas in our head that we just can't be like, why didn't this happen in the anime or in the book or whatever it is we're doing? And you just need to put it into words. And another reason why I got into fan fiction is not to hate, but there was a lot, like, back in the 90s, there was a lot of really poorly done fan fiction, or like the troll fan fiction.
Oh, get 'em.
The troll fan fiction, and I'm just like, can I just read a good, decent fic? And trust me, there are lots of very good fan fiction writers out there.
Sure.
Like, not like the freaking novels and stuff, but like when it's like the My Immortal shit. Hi, my name is Ebony, and I'm like, okay, can we get like some quality content? And when you can't find the content you're looking for, do it yourself. And
make it.
And that's where I started with my fan fiction, is like I was looking for a Kai Hillary fan fiction. Everyone was writing Kai and Ray or Kai and Tyson, that gay fanfic, and I'm like, I'm fine with that, but like I want my pairing too, and no one was doing it. So I was the first one to do it.
Oh, the rare pair life.
The rare pair life. So I was like, if no one's gonna do it, I better do it myself.
For sure. That's awesome. Oh, God.
Okay.
Time really flies.
I know, I know we're, like, late, but, you know.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna export this to my phone so I can put it on stream, and then we can start wrapping it up a little bit.
Sure. While you do that, are there any, like, final questions?
Good question. Oh, that's a good question. How often do you find yourself disliking your own work or being overly critical about its details? How do you overcome that?
All the time, and in one aspect you don't.
Yep.
You'll never fully stop doing that.
Yeah.
But you need to understand that something someone told me one time is that if you're getting really critical about your work, sometimes what it means is your eye develops faster than your hand. So you know what's good before you are able to train yourself to do what you think is good. And the thing is, that's always going to be like out of reach. What I do is I try to spin it in a positive light. I am critical of my work because I want to be better. But you have to also allow yourself to be where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really tough. And like earlier, where sometimes people just don't say it enough, like, art is hard, dudes. It's hard. So you should really pat yourself on the back for doing something that's hard. Because not everyone does.
Yeah.
And every person that you see out there in the world, they hate their stuff too sometimes. They get just as critical about it. So you're not alone.
No. Sorry, my image took up the entire screen, but that's what I did, guys. There's my artwork for you. That's what I was doing while I was multitasking.
I love that.
Thank you.
I think that's really cool. Yeah, you definitely, like, I think leaning into like the like scales thing, like this is like that can be like a cool like Yuan-Ti snake person kind of.
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
Victoria in the chat says, and how do you deal with criticism from others, be it constructive or otherwise? At the end of the day, your art is what you want it to be. There were times when I was because in art school you have to put your work up in front of a room of people, and they rip into it. And sometimes what you have to do is tell those people, no.
Fuck off. Sorry.
or fuck off. I mean, sometimes, because there was like one time I like did a piece and someone was like, well, I think that you should do this. And I was like, I'm not going to do that because that would defeat the entire purpose of the piece.
Yeah.
I was doing a portrait of myself, and at that time I was doing a lot of card art, like playing cards. And so there was two portraits of me, and one was like upside down, like a playing card. So like whichever way you flipped it, it was another picture of me. Mm-hmm. And they said, I can't focus on both. I think you should get rid of one. And I said that defeats the entire purpose.
Defeats the purpose.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if it's genuinely coming from a place of wanting you to improve, listen to what they have to say, but in the end, like, you do what you want for your art. Mm-hmm. That's all. Yeah. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, so true.
If you're not happy, why are you doing it?
Exactly. No, yeah, for sure. And when it becomes like a chore and you're not enjoying it anymore, like that's when you need to step the fuck back.
It's true.
Don't force yourself into it. If like, it's the same with writer's block. Like, sometimes you do have to power through it, but if you're grinding yourself with writing or drawing and you're just not doing it for you anymore, you're just doing it for the fans or the money, and you're wearing yourself out, don't. Because that's how you start to, like, resent your work. And I've been there. Exactly. And I've totally been there.
It's, yeah, I mean, like, there's some people out there, we were actually talking with Danica about this, like, just last night. Mm-hmm. How there are some people out there that they draw every minute of the day, every day, and that's fine, but they are not.
They are the exception to the rule. They are the
exception.
abnormal. Yeah. Yeah.
The average person has many interests, and many different things in life that they enjoy. And just because you call yourself an artist does not mean that art is the only thing that you have to be doing. Because also art is in a lot of things that you do that you might not even consider. Making, if you decide to get you have a little fun with spices and you're making dinner for yourself one day, like, that's art. You're making something.
Oh yeah. Creating food from scratch is definitely art, for sure. That's the art form. Flower arrangements,
dancing in your house alone to a character playlist. Not that I've ever done that.
No, brother, why would you do such a thing?
But, like, yeah, just pursue happiness, and something that I've been telling myself lately is pursue happiness and contribute to the net positive. Put out more positive things than negative things, whether that's choices for yourself in life or with others. Yeah, I agree. All right, here's our pieces. I have one with clothes.
And one naked.
One with one naked.
Naked! Embrace the naked!
Alright.
Alright, ma'am. Well, thank you to Ink for coming on and drawing with me and discussing all the artistic shit. And thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat. You had some really great questions.
Yeah. This is nice. We should do this again. I'm totally down with this. This is a nice.
We should do this again. I know that Para was very interested in coming on. Para's a great artist. She's on
we should totally do that. I know Danica wants to when she's not as busy.
Yeah, so, like, definitely get some other people on here.
Yeah.
And I am trying to. I'm considering doing a show like this on, like, my own Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. Where basically I would draw and talk about D&D. I want to talk about different tabletop systems that I think are cool besides D&D 5e. Ones that maybe don't get a lot of recognition, like design characters with chat and stuff. So if you liked this, please message me on Twitter and say that you'd like more stuff like this, so that I know that I should put time into doing that.
Yeah. You can follow him at Inkweaver on Twitter. I have it up in that right-hand corner of his screen. You can follow me at Mysticwater, because I'm Mysticwater everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. You can also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/MysticHour. If you want to become a patron, become part of our private Discord and all that other fun stuff. Big thank you to DiceBar.com, our sponsor of the channel. They're a Vancouver-based dice company, sell dice sets and D&D merchandise. And if you enter the coupon code PROBO, PROBO, on checkout, you get free expedited shipping to anywhere in the world. And thank you to my brother, who I love very much. My brother from another mother.
Thank you, sisters, for having me with you today.
Yes, it's so good.
Thank you, chat.
And I'm sorry we went late. I know we're missing Critical Role, but I love you.
I love you.
I love you. Okay, guys. I will see you guys next week, and keep drawing. Stay creative. We love you. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.